So this summer I worked as a migrant outreach educator on the eastern shore of Virginia. I worked with migrant farm workers who are pregnant, in a way educating them about what they should do when they're pregnant and what kinds of social and healthcare services are available to them and facilitating that access. One thing I definitely didn't realize at first was my position. And what I had learned in the past didn't ring true until, I just walked into this one woman's house and thought that that I could just talk to her and about pregnancy and not realize, oh, she speaks an indigenous dialect. I speak better Spanish than she does. And from that experience, my folly of coming in as an intruder, this is when I felt like an intruder, and not realizing my privileged position. There's a serious communication breakdown and a misunderstanding. That was really early on. And then I remembered, oh, this is what I learned about with Freire, and this is what I've learned about in Hispanic studies, and this is what I've learned through Sharp. Next time I see this woman, I'm gonna ask her to teach me some of her indigenous dialect. And for me to take an interest in her culture changed her cold reception or cold attitude towards me. It changed it immediately. In that, because I took an interest in her culture and wanted her to teach me something, it resounded very well. Because a lot of service becomes patronizing. If you're not aware of your privilege, your service is patronizing. One of the pregnant women we had was very high risk because she had gestational diabetes. So she had to go to the doctor every single week. And so we made sure, over the summer that she got to every single one of her appointments. And it was hard because it's hard to find the volunteers and the people to take her. But we made sure, she got to every single one. And then me and the other intern left for the summer. And, she couldn't really get to her appointments because, her husband did drive, but it's hard to take off of work. If you miss work, you miss a day's wages. And, if she's going to the doctor every week, it gets really expensive. So she missed some of her appointments, or couldn't go, and her baby's heart stopped beating. All of these women can be considered high risk. All of them. Because, being exposed to pesticides and, extreme sun exposure and long working hours and dangerous working conditions and poor, unsanitary, inadequate living conditions puts them all at high risk. And it's short-sighted for the health department and those other institutions to not meet their needs, because these children are going to be born here. We talk about preventative care, and that's the first form of prevention, is prenatal care. And it's a shame to not see it more supported or encouraged in the US, especially amongst vulnerable or low-income populations. The best part of my job was just going out into the camps in the afternoon and just sitting with a woman at a picnic table like this, outside, and just talk to her about whatever. Because pregnancy is such an important part of a woman's life. And so the fact that I shared it with them, they want to share it with me. Being named someone's godmother was very flattering. Very flattering. I didn't expect it. It's not why I did this job. I took this internship, this job, because I wanted to do something that, was working with immigrants, but I was challenged. I learned so much. And it was new, and I was exhausted because I was doing things I had no experience doing. Yes, I had experience working with immigrants and knowing how to approach them, and knowing those kinds of things. And Sharp and Hispanic Studies and Professor Aries have definitely given me the tools. But this was putting it into practice.